Hey, Tej here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Nasdaq with Elliott Wave Theory. Let's start here on a bit higher time frame to check out the higher time frame structures first before diving into the more smaller time frames again. So we have a few different ideas on higher time frame. One of them is that we have a three-way structure into W, three ways into X, a three-way structure here into wave Y, a three-way into X, and then another three-way structure for that wave Z. Again, there's a possibility that this is a WX, YX, Z in itself, but again, that would be more rare. So I feel like this is still possible. We are getting to the 0.618 extension here of this in here, as you see. So that is valid as well. Again, this is not my primary count, but I just wanted to show a count that has the potential of ending a count at these lows of 10.6k. But again, let's check out the more primary count, where we have this as a three-way structure into W, three ways into X, and then wave Y here. Again, not the best proportions either, but again, overall it looks decent. A three-way structure into these lows. Then we had, again, as with probably all the US indices, where we had the potential, this being a connector on its own, connecting this leg to the next downwards, or this would be the start of that connector creating some kind of structure like this. If we had it as a connector starting a larger structure, we would have it as an A wave, three-way pullback beyond the start of a wave, wave A, then we would be looking for this as the C wave potentially. We have gone beyond the 0.618 extension, which is again the minimum we want to see for any kind of three-way structure. At the moment, this, however, looks more like a three-way structure overall. So instead of APC, I would change this into a WXY for now. But yeah, that's that. The connector structure, where we had a potential X wave here as created or completed, we would be looking for this as a five-way structure into wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't know why these are shifted also bad. Let's try to fix that. Well, that's better, a bit better. And then we would be looking for a three-way structure for that wave B, and then a continuation to the downside. This here, this peak that we had last week, is definitely a potential one for this. We have gone beyond the 50% retracement of this wave A here for that wave B. Let's make sure that we have pretty close. Yep, looks good. And now we would be looking for another C-wave structure. If we are going to be getting this C-wave structure and we take out these lows that we have here around 10.5k, then we are confirming this structure to be more of a probability than the other one that I just showed you. This would again give us more probability that this would be starting to create these structure that could be ending around 9k lows. At least this would be the projection that we have here for this ABC. Of course, the one-to-one on the WXY of higher time frame would be around A100. Which would have again some confluence here for the 1.236. So definitely a lot of price decline here if this is going to be playing out around 28%, and that would bring us quite close already to the lows that we had here on March 2020. Again, this Nasdaq has been really bearish overall as well. In comparison to some other indices, so this is definitely something to keep in mind. We have already taken out these support levels that we had. Basically, here we had taken out liquidity here from these lows. If somebody, or even just a stop loss hunt, basically, if somebody used these as a potential lows, we had this wick here for this wave A's low before pivoting up higher. I don't think on other indices we have dropped this much, but again, this is more of a decline than we see on the other ones. Now let's zoom into the smaller time frame here. Let's start with the 1 hour time frame so we can actually see all the structures. Again, keeping in mind that these lows were the A lows, wave A lows, or these were a potential start of something new, or these were, again, the start of that C wave or X wave, wave Y upwards. We had this bullish case. I don't think this is possible. Or probable, I should say. Of course, we could have this as if we had looked into this as the A, B, and then C, this would be the wave 1, 2 of that structure. Is that probable? Not really. The proportions on this one again are not really that good. Again, we can't invalidate this at all anymore. The idea, however, is that the third wave is larger than wave 1, and in contracting ones, this is something that generally is not accepted. On crypto, especially on smaller timeframes, we do see this kind of structures quite often, and where this would just launch off very short wave 2 here and then just launch off for highs for that potential third wave. But we'll see how this turns out. Definitely a count to be still listed on your charts, but not really to play, I don't think. Then we had the more bearish count, where we would be climbing still correctively. However, again, we made a new high here that I was not prepared to take like so, and with this drop, which definitely seems like it is impulsive to the downside, I don't think this is very likely of a scenario. Now, the overall scenario, the structure for the way W is really good looking. It is really balanced, this A versus that C. The other thoughts that I had, but instead of wave C ending here, we would have this as 1, 2, 3, and this would be 4 and 5. We always have to think when we see a 5-way structure as clear as this, is this an end of something or an beginning of something? We already know that it can't be a beginning of something, because again, we have taken out the lows here already. So this has to be an end of something. Now, I've labeled it to be an end of this ABC, but again, it could be end of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that point, this wave W would be moved over here, and instead we would be just creating quite a bit of different kind of structure in here. This would be the third, fourth, and fifth into that wave W. Previously, when we had the wave W at these highs, we had the 1-to-1 extension to current lows. At that point, we are going to be missing that, and this is definitely going to be shifting around. And if this indeed is going to be the wave W, then it's going to be taking quite a bit longer in time. Minimum we want to be seen in time would be around the Tuesday 2020, Tuesday December 2022, where we would most likely have this as some kind of ABC structure, connector wave inside here, and this would be an ABC. At least that's how I would be labeling it. So definitely still keeping an eye on this, because again, the other one did not play out or did not really work, having this as something. There is of course a possibility where this is a 5-way structure of something, but I can't really get this to work. If we had not taken out these previous lows, this would have been really nice looking 3-way structure. We would have had this as 3-wave, 3-wave, and then 5-wave. However, we did take out these lows here, so we can't have this structure here. So instead, if we want to have this as a 5-way structure, we would have to have this as an ending expanding diagonal here. But again, that is very ugly, but it can be. Otherwise, we could have this as a 3-way structure, pull back, and 3-way structure. Very expanded as well, but both are possible. But that is the modified scenario for this bear case. There is another one which I wanted to show you, which is still keeping this wave W up in here. But instead of the B being at these highs, where we had this as the ABC, we would shift the B over here. The issue with this count is the degrees and the size of the degrees. Here, if we are comparing this structure, we see this as a potential A wave. And we see that these are the minuet count degrees. They are very small in price and in time. Then we are comparing the next structure, which is pretty decent and similar size to the previous one here. And these are labeled in micro, which again is giving us the same scenario, that these are 2 degrees lower than these ones. Very same as this would be the A wave of a minute count, and this would be a wave of subminuet. So there's both these are 2 degrees off. So that's why I feel like this is not that likely as the previous one, the bear 2 case. However, both of them are ending at these lows, looking for this to be some kind of ABC, or in this scenario ABC. Both are expecting this to be now a C wave ending somewhere, and again giving us the possibility of a pivot upwards. Again, I know everybody is bearish, but I just wanted to show that there is bullish cases there out there as well. Trying to find a count that ends at these highs though is really hard for me. Like if we are looking at these structures here, we don't get to the 0.618 extension. If we want to say that this was a 5 wave, 3-wave pullback and 5 wave, we don't get to the 0.618. Then I hold that as a minimum, just for the pure sense of right looks. And this definitely don't have it. I don't think that has it. Is kind of close, but it just misses it just slightly. If this turns into a 5-wave structure coming down, a 3-wave pullback, another 5 wave which is extended to the 1.618, then okay, I might be wrong. Then I probably have to accept that this was an ABC structure here as well, and we would have some kind of count ending here. Is it like this 3, 3, 3? Not quite sure, but that is that. At the moment, we have reached the 1-to-1 in time, comparing this W here for this wave X. So these are at the moment very similar in time. So it does fit the idea that this would be a C wave ending very soon here, before a pivot upwards. I don't know if this kind of the structure is going to come, and if we are even going to get that. Again, the expectation is only of wave Y, which would be a 3-way structure. Depending on how low we are going to go here, we're going to be getting vastly different results. So I'm not even going to be projecting which one this is going to be. Again, if we are looking at smaller time frame, let's go to 5 minute. Looking at this last structure that we've had, I will label this as a 1, 2 here for now. Another 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, extended 5th here. These are a bit sketchy, how you want to be labeling these, because of all the weeks. I don't know, should this wave 2 be here? Should this be a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup? I'm not quite sure. This is just how I've labeled this at the moment. It definitely can change. I do think that we are having some kind of third waves down at these lows. However, we are starting to get those divergences. We can't have this as a structure because this low is well beyond the 1.618 of this move here. So I don't allow that as the B wave. So I think this is a wave 4 of something. This is the first wave 4 of something here. Although this could be again on smaller time frames, of course, smaller, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, you get the point. So we should be starting to get divergences, and we do have that divergence here. However, if we were to place this wave 4 into these highs in time, it would be so short that I don't think that it makes too much sense. We do have the potential of having this as a running flat here. We do get to the 0.618. This B wave here, A, B, does not get beyond the 1.618 retracement of this one, so that's valid. 0.618 for the C wave, that is valid, although it is horrible looking, I have to admit. But I do think that we are needing one more low here to be created for this wave 4, or wave 5, sorry, to create the end of wave C, to create the end of wave X. And of course, on the other counts, this would be a wave 1 downwards. And yeah, for sure, that could be possible. But trying to project the pivot point here is not going to be that easy. We'll see what kind of reaction we are going to get off of here. If you are going to get a 5-way structure, that is way better for trading wise at least. Especially we want to be engulfing basically everything that we had here. This is starting to lose momentum here, as we see on the momentum indicator, that we are losing the steepness of this curve. We start to take out the previous lows here. We're starting to get the these kind of bearish, hidden bearish divergences forming, and then creating a new low and doing that again and again until there's nothing to compare it against, and then we have created the fifth and last wave, and then we pivot. But that is something that I would be looking for. Of course, this wave 1 here is really large in comparison to that what we are projecting here, but we'll see how we are going to be getting here. Let's see how much this actually is extended. See, we haven't just hit the 1.618, so not even sure if this could be a wave 4. Again, this wave 4 is already so small in comparison to this wave 2 here that these might be just sub wave structures, that we have one more 1, 2 in here, and this would be here, and this whole stack of 4s and 5s would be just shifted over one more, or even here, and this would be that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so something like that. And there we go. Again, not really sure how and what kind of structures we're going to get here, but again, this is some kind of projection that I'm looking at the moment. If we are going to be significantly breaking these highs of 11.5k basically, then we might be looking into the projection of that this whole thing is over already, because again, generally we don't want to be seeing these previous wave 4s broken in at least by a lot, because again, at that point the probability shift that this is no longer a fourth wave of something. So keep that in mind when you would be looking into trying to label this mess downwards. But I think that is going to do it for this video on Nasdaq. If you made it this far into the video, again, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below. And for now, I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you next video. Bye bye.